Hi, I'm Olivia. I'm the Southern Yankee Stitcher. This is my Flosstube number 27. Today is May 17th, 2022. And I've I haven't done a video for about 3 weeks, which is a long time for me. I was doing them every week for a while and backed off of that a little bit, but 3 weeks seems like a long time. Had a lot going on this past weekend. One of my sisters came from Maryland for a visit with her daughter and was here from Friday through Monday morning. My sister, who lives the other side of the state, came for Saturday and head back Sunday morning to her house. And we had to spend some time with my mom. We did a kind of extended Mother's Day. On Mother's Day, my brother was here from North Carolina, and he and I and my sister that lives here in town, we all visited with her on Mother's Day, did a special Mother's Day thing with her. And then we just kind of continued it this past weekend. So it was a good time. It was good to see everyone, and I know my mother enjoyed it. And other than that, I don't know, just life going on. I've just been busy with just working, and you know how it is. Busy doing a whole lot of nothing is what it feels like. But I want to go ahead and get you caught up with what I've been stitching. Let's see. I have a finish. Let me say that first. I have a finish. The Prairie Schooler Spring and Fall, the month of May. It's a robin, and this is the piece that I hang on my office door. So I'm normally last minute getting it done, and I was a couple days. I had left April hanging up for a couple days at my office before I got May done, and so it's hanging on my wall in my office. I mean my door in my office, and I'm going to insert a picture right here. So that was it. I need to start working on June because I don't want to be behind again. Although I won't be working a whole lot the month of June, just a few days, hopefully. That's going to be my main time off, and I'll go back mid-July. So, anyway, I got those done, and I got some other finishes too that I want to share with you. And let me get it out here. I showed you all the Prairie Schooler Santa's 12 Days of Christmas. And this is days 1 through 4. And when I last time I showed you, I believe I had the green part of the chicken coop done, but not the chickens, I think. I'll have to see the last video. I don't know. I meant to pull it up and look at that before I showed you this, and I didn't. But I finished day 3 and went on and did day 4. And let me tell you, I didn't know 4 calling birds were parrots, and they may not be in everybody's version of the 12 Days of Christmas, but I love these parrots in the turquoise blue that was in there. I stitched that up pretty quick. I mean, maybe it took me, I don't know how long it took me. But I got 3 done and wanted to go on to 4, and I really wanted to go on to 5, but I thought I'm going to wait and go and do some other things. But, I like how this looks all together. I really think I'm going to like it. I was looking ahead. This is stitched, by the way, on 32 count Lambswool Jobelin. and I'm using the called For DMC. And I think I told you I'm not crazy about the way this feels, and because it's kind of polyester feeling, but I love the way it looks. It stitches up real. Oh, my needle stitches up really nice. But I was looking ahead at the next few days. I like that turquoise so much. Where is it? Well, I probably won't make any changes here to days 5 through 8. But I was looking ahead at day 9, and I thought I might change that Marionette's dress to that turquoise color. So it was just so pretty and just kind of unexpected, and I just really like it. So I got those done. Let me put this back in here, y'all, or I'll have a big mess. And I also pulled out another chart. Well, those are finishes. I have another finish to show you. This was a chart in the summer 2021 Punch Needle Primitive Stitcher magazine, and it's the Be Kind sampler. And if y'all recall, I just wanted to do the middle for my smallest exchange at StitchCon. I stitched it, and I wasn't totally in love with it. Some of the stitches on the B-skep, I just went crazy about it. And I thought, you know, if somebody gets this as like my, I don't know, my stitching idol, I'll be mortified if they get the one that's messed up. So I decided to restitch it all. Well, it's not perfect either. I restitched it. This is the second one. I made a couple of changes. Let me tell y'all, here's the first one I did. All right, and I realized that on the chart, the way it's charted in the magazine, the B-skep is not exactly in the middle. So the first time I stitched it, I noticed that, and I moved it to be right in the middle. Well, also the flowers in these vases are not exactly the same. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I stitched them the way they were charted because I didn't realize that they weren't the same. Well, when I went to do this one, I changed the colors up a little bit, and I like these colors a little bit better. I forgot that the B-skep wasn't in the middle. So I stitched it the way it was charted, and it was off center. So I added a couple little bees there so it wouldn't look so off center. And the flowers, I made them mirror images, the same on both sides, because it bugged me that they weren't, and that they're probably supposed to be, and that they weren't. So anyway, I still have to finish this up. I have a lot of finishing to do. I normally do my finishing on the weekends, and I've had company the last 2 weekends, so I haven't been able to do finishing, which is fine. I'd rather have company than, than do a bunch of finishing, but I need to get those done. So I will be working on that maybe this weekend. Then when I finished those, I couldn't quite decide. This chair's not quite right. I couldn't decide what I wanted to stitch next. I knew I could go back and do some of the Prairie School or Santa's, or go ahead and start working on June, but I wanted to do something else. I had been saving my Christmas things. I have a couple of Christmas whips, and I've been saving them thinking I'm going to do Christmas in July, so I'm just going to wait. Well, rather than start something new, I decided to pull out Prairie Schooler Button Up. I still love this chart. I don't know why I had just put it aside, but I don't know. I did. And when I last showed this, which was months ago, I had done everything except part of the sky. I need to fill in part of the sky. So I did all of that. I did the next one over here and then the one below. I'm kind of going, like making an S as I go around the way I'm starting these. There's back stitching in the first block that needs to be done. Blades on the skates, and this is this right here is a tree. All the branches on the tree need to be back stitched. Here, Cardinal has a branch in its mouth. It'll get back stitched, and it'll have a couple little stitches, but I want to do the back stitching first so it's not so hard to get it figure it out. And then this one, same thing, has branches in the trees. I'm going to go, like I said, go back and do that at the end. Sometimes I feel like back stitching can get messed up. I don't use a hoop or a Q-snap or anything. I stitch in hand. But still, if you catch a back stitch on something that's kind of loose, it's real obvious. And I just didn't want to do that. So here you can see. You can see the branch in the bird's mouth and the tree. This tree. So anyway, I don't know if I'm going to continue working on that or start something new. I'm looking at a couple of patriotic things, and I'm really kind of in a patriotic mood. So I may start those and then still save this to finish up in July. I'll just have to see how I feel. I'm not setting any rules for myself. I just want to do what makes me happy. I've been trying to, let's see. Well, there's some comments that people made, and most people, I don't get a ton of comments, so it's not hard for me to reply to them, and I love replying to them because, you know, I'm meeting new friends, even if they're online friends. And so I wanted to go ahead, just refer those comments, because some of you watching may want to know the answers to the questions that they asked, or some you would like to, what am I trying to say? I just want to share the information. Most of them are giving me information. They're not asking questions. They're helping me out. So I thought that their comments may help you all out too. So, I'll find one thing. Okay. I showed last video an old chart that I got. It's from the 70s. And it was it's a Pawleys Island original. And it's called the Traditional Sampler. And it had the name Virginia Thompson in it. Well, my husband's family, his mother's maiden name was Thompson. And I thought this would be real easy for me to insert her name into it. And I live in South Carolina, in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. I was just like, they meant to be when I saw it on eBay. So, and it's fully kitted, got linen and everything in there. Well, then as I'm reading some things and getting educated, I figure out that Jenny Thompson was instrumental in bringing cross stitch as a hobby kind of back to the forefront in the 70s. She had a lot of charts. She had a store in Pawleys Island and released a lot of charts. Well, Julie commented and said she grew up doing Jenny Thompson kits, and that her family would vacation on Pawleys Island in the mid-70s, and she would go to Jenny Thompson's shop. I thought that was super cool, because then I once I got one thing from her, I decided to I was just kind of looking on eBay. I was, wanting to get something a little different, something I didn't already have, and came across this book, Jenny Thompson, Audubon Cross Stitch. And in the back of the book here, I'm just going to read that to you real quick. Jenny Thompson is credited with stimulating the current great enthusiasm for counting cross stitch in this country. In addition to teaching the techniques and designing, she is the founder with her husband of Jenny Thompson Originals, a needlecraft manufacturer and supplier. She lives in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. This book it's got where I don't know if she gave it to somebody or she put that in all of her books. I don't know. But it says Happy Stitching, Jenny Thompson. And copyright's 1982. So I thought that was super cool. And man, she's got some beautiful birds in here. My mom loved bird prints. Loved them. She had a lot of them in her house. And I have a couple little frames. I've been trying to find something to go in them. And I thought some of these bird charts are going to be perfect. Let's see. Well, here's two of them. They're so pretty. There's more. Let's see. I know so many people love cardinals. Look at that cardinal. It's really pretty. It's based on the Audubon prints, which, John James Audubon went through the United States and drew the flora and fauna as it was discovered, and tried to do it in its natural habitat, what it was, what he was seeing, not just they're in. I like that they're in poses where you would see them in nature, like one's feeding the other there. That kind of thing. So it just reminded me, just a second. I went with my daughter-in-law. She's expecting her first child, and it will be our first granddaughter. We have two grandsons, first granddaughter. And she needs some things want to look for some things for the nursery and also just for their home. So we decided to go to some yard sales. Well, I found these two frames. Somebody must have used them at a wedding or something. But I thought about putting two bird charts in these. I thought that would be really pretty to have a bird in each one of those. So, and they were like $1 or something. Let's see. So that's a little bit of haul and a little bit of comments from Julie. Julie, thank you for sharing that, because I just found that really interesting. It's funny how people can be connected, and I know when you see something like that, it brings back your memory, and especially childhood. Everybody likes that. Diane commented about the LNS, and she said the Stitch Bug in Brunswick, Canada is an awesome store. So if any of you live anywhere near Brunswick, Canada, I don't know what that's near, but check out the Stitch Bug, as recommended by Diane. Julie also had some advice for me about my sewing machine. And, I showed those little magnetic things you put on the bottom of your sewing machine, and they serve as a guide. So your fabric, you just line it up with that. Instead of lining up with the line below it, you can just bump it up to this. It's a little ledge in there, kind of. Well, she said she uses washi tape on her machine. She puts it on there, and she can do diagonal and all kinds of things for quilting. Well, I have never used washi tape for anything. I really didn't know what you're supposed to use it for. I've seen it. I know it's cute, and I'm like, oh, look at that. It's washi tape with cute little bees on it or something, but I had no idea what to use it for. So thank you, Julie, for your advice on that, because I think I will do that. That way you can run the tape all the way across the base of your machine, so you have a guide, from start to stop. And I just want to thank everyone for the kind comments last time on the Be Kind sampler I just showed you. I felt like it wasn't perfect enough, so I redid it, and maybe I should have just read your all's comments before I started it again. But I want to thank you just for being encouraging. That's really sweet. Sweet, thank you. Okay, so let me get on with the haul. I showed you a little bit with that book that I purchased. I got some other books too. I kind of just went on a little eBay book binge. They were all cheap, but I got this one. It's the Sampler Motif book by Brenda Keyes, and I know she's another designer that's been around for a long time. This is a Reader's Digest book. I, in particular, love this chart right here, and the charts in the book. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to stitch that. How old is this book? This book's from '95. It's not terribly old. Well, maybe it is terribly old. I'm showing my age when I say it's not that old. I thought this one was cute too. And there's a bigger picture of this one that I really, really like. So I'm going to stitch those up. I'm going to decide from books that I've purchased and charts that I have on hand. I want to pick out some samplers. And while I'm at StitchCon, and I can go to an L&S and go to Keepsakes, I can buy fabric and floss and lay it all out and have it there, because otherwise I have to buy online now. Two of our stores in South Carolina closed. The owners, just decided to retire, and good for them, but sad for us. But that's one of the reasons I got these books. I have other reasons too, but then I got this embroidery motifs from Dutch Samplers, and that sampler is cool. So different. And so I think I might do that one too. There's a lot of different, everything's like a chart, but it's got a bunch of things in here that you could use if you want to make something up yourself. And it tells the meanings of them, which is neat. And the year, like, did I show you all this book last time? It seems like maybe I did. Like this bowl of fruit right here. You can't see it real close. It is Dish of Fruit from an 1810 sampler. And of course it's Dutch. But anyway, I thought that was interesting to get that book. Look at that. Then I bought a kit, a dimensions kit. Now, I first saw Deb on Country Stitchers stitch this. In fact, I think it's still a whip for her. And, she just kind of takes charts a step above. She adds a little too. You know, adds a little extra back stitching or makes the tree look extra fluffy, or, you know, I don't know. She does different things to personalize it and make it a little more dimensional. Well, when I saw this, it reminded me so much of my home in Maryland. Not that I lived in a home like this, but there are many homes like this around me. And my sister, where my sister lives, the road you take to get to her house goes real close to a farm. And it's kind of like this with the, I mean, it reminds me a lot of that. With the stone house and the stone barns, I just love it. I love it. So I found this online, and it's called Scenic Farm by Dimensions. It's got Aida in here. I probably won't use that fabric. Well, I'm sure I won't use that fabric. And the flosses, I don't know. I'll have to see. I may change a few out, but normally they're pretty good with their color combinations and how they put them together, so they look really good. There was another book I got. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed with the book. You know, when you buy online, you don't always know what you're getting, and because you can't see it all. And this was the book I got, and it was cheap, and that's probably why I got it. But it's just like very thin and not a whole lot in here. Now there are some things in here I think are cute. Let me see if I can find one. This one I think is neat. They just call it traditional sampler. That's kind of cool. But this one I think is neat too. I'm not sure that what I'll stitch in here, but I'm just gonna add to my collection. I just thought it would have included more. You know, nothing against the person who created this book, because there's some good stuff in here. I just thought it was going to be like a thicker book when I bought it. I probably didn't pay close enough attention to the description. I'm sure it's my fault. I'm not, you know, trying to blame anybody. All right, so when my daughter-in-law and I were out at yard sales, we went to the town where I work. They had a town-wide yard sale, and that's why we decided to go. I hadn't been to yard sales in many years. When my mother first moved to South Carolina, she loved going to yard sales, and we would go a lot together. But once she got where she couldn't go, unless I just happened to pass one and decided to pop in, I just hadn't gone to any. So it was nice to go. It was fun. I ran into well, I knew she was going to be set up there. Crystal Rowe, she's a floss tuber, and it's funny. Crystal and I've mentioned this before. I work in the town where she lives, and her husband's mayor of that town. And she used to substitute teach years ago at the school where I work. Well, we never really talked a whole lot, because she was just checking in and, you know, going to the classroom to work, and I work in the office, kind of the back part of the office. But I had seen her and recognized her, and, you know, knew who she was. Then one day on Facebook, I saw a post where she was sharing a Flosstube video. I was like, oh, I had no idea you were a stitcher. This is great. I don't know any other stitchers around. And so we kept talking about, we need to get together. We're going to get together. Well, then, I mean, so much happened. So much happened. A lot happened with my mom, you know, and then, you know, her mom had health problems too, and we just could not get together. Well, she was going to StitchCon. She registered, you know, the day you're supposed to register, and I think I saw her post, which reminded me, oh, I need to register to get a ticket for StitchCon. Well, I didn't get one, of course, because I waited too long. It was like that evening or something. Well, I don't know how long it's been now. A month or two, I got a notice that you know, I could come off the waiting list if I wanted to go. So I was like, I'm going to weekend B, and she was going to weekend B, and we kept saying, we have to get together and stitch together before StitchCon, because it would be pretty sad if we both drive 8 hours to Ohio, and that's the first time we stitch together when we live. You know, I drive like I'm 1 block away from her house when I on my way home from work, and we just couldn't. We just haven't been able to make it happen. So I knew she was going to be setting up at the townwide yard sale. She was going to sell some things, and because now she's not able to go to StitchCon because of her mother's health, and so I'm not going to be able to see her there. So I stopped by and saw her at her house, and she said, I put back some things for you. I saved some things for you, some cross stitch things if you want them. And I picked out some things that I thought I'd like, and I was like, okay, how much for these? And she's like, no, I'm not selling them to you. I'm giving them to you. She said, I just do them and put them in a giveaway table or something. You know, I want to give them to you. So it's so nice of her. These cross stitch magazines. This one in particular, all the Christmas ornaments. I flagged one thing so far, but you know how it is with a magazine, at least it is with me. You have to go through it several times to really see everything. It's kind of like when you used to get the Christmas JCPenney or the Sears Christmas catalog. I mean, how many times did you go through that thing? I would go through it over and over and over. And my sister and I would say, okay, on every page, let's pick the best thing. And we go through it. We were sheltered. Anyway, this is in the Just Cross Stitch June 2020 issue. I like these. I like the chickens and the bunnies in particular. That's all I flagged so far, but there are other charts in here. If I don't see a chart that I want to stitch, then I'm going to take them to StitchCon, and I will pass them on. There were a couple charts too, and she's just so generous, so kind of her to do that. And it's flea market flowers. I saw so many people do these, and I looked at it, and also the Sew by Row by Lori Holt, and thought those colors just aren't, they don't really go in my house. But I start looking around at like, that could go in my house. May not go in any other room in my house, but it certainly could go there. And or I could do a conversion. I'm not sure which I want to do, but I do really like this. I'm looking forward to stitching it. And then this is called Christmas Land by Raise the Roof Designs. And it says, the street is filled with visions grand, a lovely night in Christmas Land. I love those little houses. I thought it was really cute. I don't know if I'll stitch the verse on the bottom, but I love the houses. And if I don't stitch them all together, I may just do ornaments. So those are from Crystal Rowe. Thank you, Crystal, for those. Okay. Oh, I got one more thing. Is it behind my... Excuse me, y'all. It is. It's right here behind my... Can't hardly reach it. I was looking when I was doing my eBay buying binge, book buying binge. I saw some magazines, the Sampler and Antique Needlework magazines, and I kept looking at those and thinking, oh, I wish I could see inside and see what, which issues I wanted, because I never even knew they existed until I heard Brenda and Laura mention them in one of their videos a while back. And then I went to Amazon. I think it was Amazon. Pretty sure it was Amazon. And I found this. And I'm sure I'm probably way late to the game on this one. But it's got all the issues, all the charts in there from the issues, and all on, I think it's a DVD or CD. No, it just says DVD. I think you can download the, I don't know. I just have to pop it in and see what happens. But I was excited about getting this. Let's see. Put the DVD in your computer, enjoy the entire collection. I guess you could probably print too. I don't know. I hope I can print. Whether I'm just reading or printing, I am super excited about this. I can't wait to start looking at that. There's one other thing I bought, and I don't have it here. When I was at yard sales, there was a old tin. It's full of sewing things, including an old tomato pincushion and wooden spools of thread, and just some kind of old, like, I love that kind of stuff, old. So I got those two, and that's part of my haul. Other than that, that's about it. I should have more to share with you, but like I said, I haven't recorded because it's been busy, which means, my stitching time's been limited too. I'm looking at my little notes here. I think I covered it all, y'all. No, I didn't. I'm gonna have to pause this and come back. There's something I don't have with me. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I forgot something very important. I'm going to talk about this sampler again. If any of you follow me on Instagram, you probably know why I'm mentioning this. This is a Rocky Springs Schoolhouse sampler. I designed and stitched this because it has a lot of family history, and a lot of my family members attended this school in the what was it? Almost 100 years, like 91 years it was open. My grandmother had very fond memories of it, and through the years she was involved in keeping it maintained. She would have craft bazaars, and she was involved with other ladies who also went to school there. There were so many people in the community that went to school there. And I have some prior videos where I really go into detail about the schoolhouse. I'll reference those in the comments below, so you can go look at them if you want. But when I stitched this, I wanted it to look like it was on chalkboard. So I got a piece of Aida. It was 18 count Aida. I think it was called Sage, and it looked darker online than it was in person. So I over-dyed it with some red dye, and I talk about that in another video, and not, like I said, I'll reference that below. But I just kept dipping it, and then I came up with this, and it looks pretty close to a chalkboard. Most of the Floss is weeks. I think there's some DMC in there, and I'll reference all of that in the chart. And if you want to get the chart, I'm about to tell you how to get it. This schoolhouse is right beside a chapel that when the schoolhouse closed in 1930, the chapel bought it and used the schoolhouse for like their social hall. And the schoolhouse has since been fully restored, and the schoolhouse is partially restored. There's a foundation called I'm going to get the name right. Something makes me want to say it wrong. Historic Rocky Springs Chapel Incorporated. It's a foundation formed of all volunteers who, are working to get grants and working just to get funds to restore the schoolhouse. They have furniture that's available. to put in it that other people have donated. They have secured the roof, and they've made some interpretive museum boards that are placed around the exterior of the schoolhouse. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and they need to raise funds. Well, a few years ago, a local artist had a painting. I don't know if his paintings are of a lot of the buildings and old buildings, and maybe they're no longer around, in the town of Frederick, Maryland, where I'm from. Well, he had one of the schoolhouse, whether he did it just for this purpose or he already had one, I don't know. But for anybody who made $100 or more donation to the foundation, he would send them a free print. And his artwork. And so she wanted to support the cause, of course, and she also wanted a print. I think my sister has that print now. But I thought, well, maybe I could do the same thing. So after posting this on a couple of types of social media, I got some positive feedback, and I messaged a copy of this to the foundation. And the lady got back with me. I had talked to her in years past and sent her some photographs and things that they could use in their museum there, and offered to do a similar thing that the artist did with this chart. So what we've arranged is that anyone who makes a contribution of $20 or more, because I want it to be kind of in line with what the chart would cost, not crazy money, just $20 or more, if you make your contribution direct to the historic Rocky Springs Schoolhouse, Inc., and I will list all the information in the information below, and I'll try to put a screenshot of their name and address at the end of this video. But if you do that and you tell them you want a copy of the cross stitch chart, then I will send you a free chart. I can send you a paper version, or I can send you a PDF, whichever you prefer. And I'm hoping that, we'll raise a little bit of money. Every dollar counts. My grandmother used to do craft bazaars to raise money for the maintenance of the building. And when you're a nonprofit, really every dollar does count. And they have some big projects that need to be done on this building to keep it in good shape and get it restored. So, like I said, the chapel's already been restored next door, and that's complete. They have Civil War era church services there periodically, a few times a year. And you can wear your Civil War era, it's hard for me to say that, Civil War era costumes or period clothing, whatever you want to call it, and attend the service, in your hoop skirt or whatever. And the pastor will preach in the style that would have been, how it would have been preached back in that day. I guess a lot of fire and brimstone. I'm not sure. I haven't been to one, but I would love to buy a period costume and go to one of those services one day. I just haven't been able to do it yet. But if you all are interested in historic preservation like I am, I mean, I hate to see an old building torn down. I hate to see an old house torn down. I know it's a lot more economical sometimes to build new than to save old, but man, it's so worth it to save the old. There's so much history. I mean, just think about when you go to Europe, the history they have there. It's incredible how old some of the structures are. They repair their things. They don't necessarily tear down and build new like we do here. And I wish we would take another look at doing that so much. But I hope y'all maybe will want to support this cause. And like I said, all the money goes to them directly. You tell them you're interested in the cross stitch piece, and they'll let me know, and you send them either your mailing address or your email, however you'd like to get your copy, and I will send it to you. And I thank you all in advance for supporting a worthy cause. And that's it on that. For a StitchCon update, I'm planning to start. I had a welcome sampler that was given to me months ago by a viewer, and I have it kitted up, and I was going to start it in January, and I never did. Then I um, had fabric that was given to me by a viewer, and StitchCon's all about meeting people, and through Flosstube, and I thought it would be appropriate for me to start that at StitchCon. So that's going to be one start at StitchCon. Then I think I mentioned before, I have all these books, and I want to pick out a sampler to stitch and buy my fabric and kit it all up at Keepsakes while I'm at StitchCon and start it there too. So I want to start at least 2 pieces while I'm there. I may kit up more than that. I have to really work on it and think about what I want to do. But I'm excited about going. I'm not sure my family's going to be able to come now. My daughter hurt her back and had to miss much time from work, and so she can't go. When she and her sister were going to do things together, and her sister's like, I don't mind going by myself, but I don't really love the idea of her going around a town that she doesn't know by herself. I don't know. And my husband was kind of iffy because of his back too, so I'm probably coming by myself. But I had really told them, don't expect to spend any time with me if you're coming. Don't get upset if I don't meet you for dinner or whatever, because I'm going there to meet people and meet people in person that I've been watching and friends that I've made online. That's who I'm going there to see, and that's the purpose of my trip. So I think I'm probably going to be coming by myself, and that's just fine with me. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there. I have to order my floss drops. I'm doing the floss drop exchange, and I'm doing the smalls exchange. Somebody said something about needle minder, but I mean, they're neat to have. I don't use them because I stitch in hand. So I'm not going to do the needle minder exchange. I don't know what I would exchange anyway. But I was trying to get on the Vistaprint websites where I got my floss drops before, and I couldn't. The site was having some problems today. So I'm going to try that again a little bit later and hopefully get through and get those ordered, because I really would like to exchange those with everyone. So anyway, I'm going to get off here, go eat some dinner, and then do some stitching. And I hope you all have a great evening, a great day. Thank you for stopping by. If you haven't liked and subscribed my video, please do that. I'm at 400 and something subscribers. I'd like to get to 500. I don't know why, but I tend to set goals for myself all the time, even if it's in the form of a to-do list every day. I have goals of what I need to do every day, and Flosstube's no different. I have goals for it too, and I just wanna increase it. Don't know why. I'm having fun with the number of people that have subscribed at this point, and I've met some great people, and I really enjoy it. But I just want to get that. I want to be part of the 500 club, y'all. So help me out a little bit. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.